I'm here with Dan. I can see in his face he looks quite dejected, even though, well, I shouldn't say even though, because most people expected us to win the game. But listen, we've gone there today, 1-1 draw. Dan, your initial thoughts on the game?
I thought we were going to drop points here a few weeks ago because I expected to see a performance today like we saw. But the PSV game kind of threw me a bit. But the reason was that they come out to play football and there's a blueprint. And if you do what Man United did, you'll pick something up. Yeah, you won't lose to us. You might not win, but you won't lose. I'm just glad the Formula One's back next weekend, man, because I'm going to start watching that, if I'm honest with you, because I'm sick of this season. I'm done with it, mate. And Champions League, people will say, yeah, we've still got that, and we'll play on Wednesday, and I'm sure we'll go through, and then we'll get Real Madrid or Atletico, and we'll lose, and it'll be season over, and that's it. And we look back and we think, what's gone wrong? Well, there's a lot that's gone wrong. But if I look today, I look at the manager and I ask the question, how do you beat a low block side? Because I can't see how you do it. You couldn't beat Everton. You couldn't beat Fulham with it. You haven't been able to beat this team. And there's been other teams, even last season and this season, that have come to the Emirates or that we've gone to, and they've said, right, we might not win here, but we'll shut up shop. And it will happen when we play Moyes against Everton. It will happen there. It will probably happen against Fulham. It will probably happen X, Y, Z, because that's the blueprint to get points against Arsenal. And it's quite easy
Can I just play devil's advocate for a minute? And listen, a lot of what you said is absolutely spot on. But my answer to that would be, with the possible exception, not possible exception, the exception of Liverpool, who is good at breaking down low block teams?
So Liverpool are correct, that's correct. Klopp's Liverpool teams have been correct. Pep Guardiola's Manchester City
No, I'm talking about
correct.
in the Premier League this season.
I would say that there's not every single team that has to play against that low block. So you ask yourself that question, why do people play that against us? Because they'll get 3 points or a point out of it, right? So I've seen teams in the past that have been good. Right now, I don't think the quality is great in the Premier League. I've got to be real with you. I've said that.
There was a reason as well why I asked you that question, because even like City, we saw them against Forest yesterday. They couldn't get past Forest, and Forest beat them. It is difficult. I mean, there's a lot of talk, and I'm sure you've seen it, Dan. You study your football. A lot of teams are saying the era of possession football could be dying. And it's exactly because of what we saw today. United set up 2 banks of 4, they defended fairly well, and then they managed to get a goal and they keep it tight, and then they can frustrate the hell out of sides like Arsenal, who are possession-based, trying to break teams down. I mean, there is a way of breaking down the low block. Your quick ball, your diagonal passes, overloads, shooting from outside the box. We've all heard pundits waxing lyrical about how you can do it, but I guess what I'm saying, the reality of it can be somewhat different.
Yeah, you're right. But we've seen Newcastle do that against the West Ham. We've sat in a lot of block and they've managed to pick up 3 points. Or we've seen not just Liverpool, Bournemouth this season, Brighton this season. They've come up against low blocks and they've gotten it through. So it isn't just a team thing or a manager thing. It's a know-how as a team mentally, and also the tactically from the manager to get through and win the game. And I look at that right now and I think, we've actually quite lucky we've got a point coming away today, bruv. Like, you look at Raya, you look at Rice, you look at Gabriel, other than Timber, I would say. Other than that, I don't think many of the other players did much. And, the manager today has got to look at his bench and think, is this the team that I think can go and get us across the line? Because I don't believe he's the manager that can get us across the line. But then you have to throw in as well, is this got the team to do it? Because if you're bringing on Kieran Tierney, who I like, by the way, as your most attacking option from the bench, you have to look at that summer and go, was Marino, Calafiori and Sterling the worst transfer window we had in the history of the club? I'm just putting that out there as a question, because Calafiori got hooked again today because he was rubbish again, right? You've got Marino, I don't know what he is. He's playing up top, then he's playing right back, and he's playing in the middle, making mistakes. You've got Sterling, who's sitting on the bench now. He's not just got Saka ahead of him, who he thought he was going to have. He's got Saka ahead of him, Martinelli ahead of him, Trossard ahead of him. He's got young Ethan Nwaneri ahead of him, and now he's got Kieran Tierney and Zinchenko ahead of him, right? So that was a poor signing, right? I'm sorry, no one tell me that was a really good opportunity to bring him in to see what he could do there. You need a option off the bench, and that should be your option. He's injured, so who comes in? Raheem Sterling. I don't want to see him, but the window suggests that they were happy, the club, to go with the backup, who is Raheem Sterling. So that's been a bad signing. So you look back and you think there's been so many problems this season and so many concerns, not just with the manager, but also with some of these players, because I don't think some of the players have been good enough. Now, I don't want to sit there and start lumping it on them, because they're the players that are in the trenches right now, right? They're the ones that we've got, and I like a lot of them, if I'm honest with you. I do. I think a lot of them are top quality. But when you look at that today, tactically, I was scratching my head thinking, there must be something else you can do. And he's tried to change it, ain't worked. He's tried with substitutions. He's tried with dropping people into different positions and different kind of setups. Hasn't worked. So you have to look and say, are you an elite manager then? Because if you can't beat this Manchester United side with Aiden Heaven and Lindelof at the back, you've got to ask yourself questions about how good we actually are and how good the management was and how good the team structure was and how good the tactics were. Because not enough beating our man today. When we were beating them, poor delivery. I thought, I've got to be honest with you again, I've got to look at the captain. I've got a question, is he a captain? Is he a leader? Because I'm not talking about his performance today. I'm talking about Gabriel, who's my captain. I'm talking about Declan Rice, who's my vice-captain. That's what I'm talking about. I don't look at him as my captain. And I don't look at him as a bad player, by the way, Martin Odegaard. But I look at him today and I think, when it matters, when I need you to drag us across the line, why aren't you doing it? And it ain't good enough, man. I keep wanting so badly him to show me a game where I can go, do you know what? He's properly turned up tonight. And that is the performance of a captain, of a leader, of a dragging across the line when times are rough. And it's fine beating PSV by 7, yeah? But when it's tough, I want this guy to get us across the line. And there's two ways you can look at that PSV result. You can go, wow, we can still win the Champions League here. Maybe we can catch Liverpool, which is not what I did, but some people did, right? Or you can look at it and go, yeah, what we're going to do against Man United. And I said, on this very sofa, on this watch-along against PSV, I need to see momentum now. And straight away, in 3 games, we've lost to West Ham, we've drew to Nottingham Forest, and we've drew to Manchester United. And that's not a title race.
In 3 games. But we should strike a positive note before the end of this fan cam. Declan Rice today, man, outstanding. Yeah.
He was, yeah. David Raya as well, unbelievable saves. I know that he was a mistake. In my opinion, it was a mistake for the free kick. I thought that was. Positioning was all wrong. I think he's given him a kind of put it there if you want. And it wasn't even it's the middle of the goal, man. You've got to do better than that. Poor from Trossard to give the foul away, I have to say that. But yeah, Declan Rice performance today and the one against PSV. That's 2 in a row now where he's been player of the match for me. I look at him, Gabriel likewise with the tackle from him. Timber was good today. But Declan Rice, I think, is showing why he should be at least considered for a captain or a leader in his side, because he's a top
So
player.
you would go as far as to make a change now and take the captaincy off Trossard off Odegaard and give it to Declan Rice. Is that what you're saying?
I would, but I don't think the manager would do that. I don't think.
No, we know the manager's not.
Yeah.
I'm just asking about your
that's what I would do. But look, the manager's not going to strip the captaincy off of someone who hasn't done anything wrong. You know what I mean? But I'm just looking back at that decision now, thinking, was that the right choice? Because Gabriel was there. And I'm not talking about, because we didn't have Rice at the time when he made that decision, right? But for me, Gabriel is the leader in this team. And I must say, I think that right there is a performance where I could look and go, that weren't very good, but you were outstanding. And Gabriel likewise. So they're the two that keep shining for me and keep
Just
shining.
to push back on that a little bit, though,
Yeah,
do you think, though, that affects the overall... I mean, we spoke about the lack of potency up top. So many people would say, OK, you take the captaincy of Odegaard and give it to Rice, but how does that improve the general effectiveness of the team, especially going forward?
No, you're right. There's more than just that. That's not the reason we lost the game today, or drew the game today, should I say? But yeah, it's not the reason we dropped points. I just look at those 2 performances consistently now, and I think, yeah, you're the kind of leaders on the pitch. But that ain't just the only problem, Laurie. You know, let's just say how it is. We have not been in a title race this season. We are currently sat 15 points behind Liverpool in March. A Liverpool side that have just had a brand new manager that have bought Chiesa in the summer, right? This is a Liverpool side that is very good, but I don't look at them and think, wow, they're like the Centurions. They're like the treble winners. They're like the Invincibles. They're a good Liverpool side that deserve the league, and let's be real, they've not really had anybody. They must be thinking, wow. Now, I said to Curtis, I think it was Curtis and I were having a chat about this, we were talking about winning the Carabao Cup because it gives you momentum to win the Premier League. They're going to win the Premier League before they've even played the Carabao Cup, Liverpool, right? So that to me tells me everything I need to know about where we're at and where they're at, right? And they should not be 15 points ahead of us. Before a ball was kicked, if I would have said to you now, Manchester City are dropping off this year, are we going to win it? Everybody would have gone, must be us. And they've come and leapfrogged us. And they not just nicked it by like 3 points here. They're 15 points clear of us now. And we're going to drop more points. We've got to play Everton, we've got to play Fulham, we've got Chelsea next. Yeah, we've got Newcastle, who we haven't beaten this season. I think, in fact, we've lost all 3 times we played them, haven't we? So there's a lot more games that we've got to be playing here, man. So people can't get... I think the title was done a long time ago. It's definitely done now. But however, when I look at it, I think all we've got to play for is the Champions League. And you think, yeah, let's get behind that. I can get behind the team as much as I want. We've got to go to Madrid. And we can't beat Man United's worst team in the history of the Premier League. We can't get too excited. We've got to be realistic about this. And you have to look at the manager. You have to question it. Yes, he's had hard with injuries this season. Absolutely. But when you look at that, we've got Havertz and Saka out at the moment. Everyone else is back, right? Jesus and Tomiyasu have hardly kicked a ball for us most of the season. Tomiyasu definitely hasn't, yeah? So Havertz and Saka out, we're saying, oh, well, what do you expect us to do? Got Havertz and Saka out. What, 2 players? So we get 2 players out and our season's done. We can't do anything. There's no answer with this manager. He's got his 2 players out, one of which I don't even think is that great up top, if I'm honest, yeah? This season I think he's got about 9 goals, Havertz, yeah?
I think it's
and Saka is obviously our best player. So when we haven't got Saka, yeah, we can't win a game. Is that what we're saying? Because it shouldn't be like that, Laurie. Yeah, you shouldn't have a summer or a January transfer window that finishes and goes, right, we're going to go for these competitions here, but we better not lose Saka, otherwise we can't win anything. Is that what we're saying? I mean, that is not good. So that's where I'm at now. I think it's season done. The way we're playing, we definitely ain't going to do nothing in the Champions League, although I think we're clearly going to go through on Wednesday night. And then we just pray and cross everything around Madrid, and the rest of the season I'll be cheering on the Formula 1, mate.
There you have it. Thanks, Dan. Cheers.